Cracking, everybody? New video. Um, so in the comments for a little while now, there's been one topic that a few of you guys have asked me about. So I figured today I'll tell a story along those lines. And the story that people keep asking me about, or the type of stories, is paranormal activity. Okay. So let me tell you this story. It's a weird story. Here we go. So after going to SRCC, the Southern Reception Center in Norwalk, I got transferred to Paso Robles YA Youth Authority in February of 1990, right? Okay. And when I was in orientation, there was this one white kid. I want to say his name, but it wouldn't be right. There was this one white kid, and he had very, very feminine features, and he had long blonde hair. And I remember right there in the what we call the fish tank, which is orientation unit, but right there in the fish tank, I remember a lot of the blacks being on him, and they were telling him all the things that were going to happen to him, right? And instead of this individual fighting, like he should have took off from jump, instead of him fighting, he was like, well, we're all going to get raped anyways, you too, right? To the guy that was talking shit to him. And we're like, me and the fellas were like, the fuck, eh? You know what I mean? So anyways, we all went to whatever units we went to. Well, he went to Shalam. And it didn't take long for word to go around the institution that he was getting boned. He was performing sexual acts, and he was treated as a woman. And the way it was put out there was he liked it. You know what I mean? It was weird. Well, I wound up on one of the drug units when I was in SR. One of my homeboys, I got to SR first, and he was like, "Hey, you know how you do less time?" He goes, "Say you have a drug problem, and they'll send you a drug unit." He goes, "And you go to do a drug program." He goes, "And you can parole after you're done." Wow, that only works if you're not a fuck up. So I got a board ordered drug program, right? So I went up on Los Osos West in Paso Robles, right? And I'm a straight knucklehead. I don't have a locker. You know, who does take your locker when you're fuck up? They give you a fucking little cardboard box. So, anyways, that same guy winds up getting sent to my unit, right? Well, in my unit, there were these two white dudes that were lovers, I guess. I don't know. It was fucking weird, eh? Um, and the man in that relationship was a dude from Ventura, actually. And when the other one came, the long-haired one came, he got caught up in a little web. It's weird. Eh? I don't want to get too much into the weird little love triangle that they had. It was fucking weird. Everybody used to fucking clown all three of them, and talk shit to all three of them. But it was the weirdest, most manipulative. Like people, these three thought they were righteously in a relationship, and it was fucking weird, man. Well, one day we had a movement. A movement could be like to the handball courts, to the gym, to the pool, whatever it is. And there's only a certain amount of people that can go. They can only take a certain amount of people. I don't remember where we went, man. I want to say we went to the gym, but it was a nighttime movement. And we went, boom. And when we came back, one of the people in the love triangle was acting weird. It was just fucking weird. Eh? Well, the long haired one was missing, right? The real feminine looking one was missing, right? And the reason why I caught it was because the so-called man in the relationship was running around asking the staff, "Where's so and so at? Where's so and so? He's not on the yard. He's not in the day room. He's not in the dorm. Where is he at? And he was in a panic, right? And we were just tripping on him, like, hey, trip out on this fucking weirdo. And then he walked into the shower area, and there's this little room where they put all the shower rolls. And he was like pushing the door. And we were watching him, like, what the fuck is this fool doing? And he's pushing the door. And then I don't remember if he yelled or what the fuck, but he came running out of there. And he was telling the staff, and it was this crazy, crazy, crazy lady. Her name was Mary, right? And he's telling Mary, he's hanging. He's hanging. Push the alarm and save him. He's going to die. And Mary was saying, get away from me. Get away from me. She was a righteous nut. Stunk so bad. And she wouldn't listen to what he was saying. So what he wound up doing was he reached over and he pushed her panic button that was on her belt. Boom. That kicks off the alarm, and then what happens is whatever unit it is, the speaker and the unit central control will say security's on the way, and then you can hear all the vans. And they're trying to get to that unit as fast as possible because they don't know if it's a riot, if it's a staff assault, stabbing, whatever. So all the huras come in, boom, and they're running, and everybody's standing in the day room looking around because we don't really know what's going on. And when the cops come running in, they stop, like, what the fuck? And Mary was saying, lock him up. The so-called man in the weird triangle, right? Lock him up. He hit my buzzer. So they grab him and throw him against the wall. And he tells them, go to the shower room. Somebody's hanging in there. I was trying to get her to save this person's life. And the cop was like, what? But he cuffed him and goes, what? And he took off running into the shower area. And he banged the door open. And then that cop came running out of the shower area, and we're watching, and he ran to the front of the building, and he just started throwing up everywhere. And we're like, oh shit. And then other staff started yelling, everybody get on the yard, everybody. So we go out to the thing. Now we know, right? And so we all get out to the yard. And this is how scandalous YA is. And this is why I say YA bred monsters. And YA, they gamble on everything. They see two dudes arguing, they'll start putting bets on who's going to win the fight. Well, there were people trying to place bets on whether he was going to live or die, right? So the Huras had to cut this dude down. Boom. They tried resuscitating him. I think he was still alive, and then he died in the hospital, right? But here's the crazy thing. The very next day, when he died, certain dudes that fucked with him the most in that dorm were saying either they had a nightmare about him or their bunk was shaking, right? So we're like, man, yeah, whatever. And I remember there's like certain kind of tile, like linoleum floor, right? In the regular dorm and the day room and all that. But in the shower area is like hard tile. I don't know how to explain it. Little tiny tiles, right? But there's like a line between the linoleum and then that. And crossing that line, the temperature was easily 20 degrees colder as soon as you stay. And it had never happened like that before. And everybody noticed it. And a lot of dudes didn't even want to shower. They're like, something ain't right in there, ain't, because that's where he had hung himself, right next to, right when you walk in to the right was that little room, that little storage room. Nobody even understood how it was unlocked. It was never unlocked, but they felt that, right? That was day one after he died. At the time, we used to have this night lady, and it was a black chick, light skinned little mocha girl. Her face was horrible. She looked like Alice the Goon from Popeye. Remember the one that you say, "I love Popeye"? That's who she looked like. But her body was ridiculous, right? So there would be vatos that would try to wait till late at night when they thought everybody was asleep, and they would go over there and they would holler at her, right? Try to get at her through the little door and shit. Those of you that have been in Hawaii know when you have to use a bathroom in the middle of the night, what you got to do. But for those of you that don't know, what you do is you can't just get up out of that bunk and walk down the hallway. I mean, down the dorm, because somebody may feel like you're trying to do something. They may jump up, half asleep, like, oh shit, this dude's moving on me. And the hudas might think you're moving on somebody and hit the alarm. So what you do is you sit up on the end of your bunk and you snap your fingers. And when you snap your fingers, the cop's gonna look up. If the bathroom's open, they flash the flashlight on you. That means you can get up and go. So I remember waking up and I looked over because I slept in the front of the dorm. That's where they put the fuck ups. And I looked, and Cricket from Sherman in San Diego was trying to holler at that chick, right? He's trying to whisper. He was hilarious. He was on Ricky Lake after he got out of Hawaii. That dude was so funny. What's up, Cricket? Hopefully you're doing good. But he's trying to holler at her. And if he sees this video, he'll remember this. I put my head down and I started falling back asleep. And I saw that she was flashing a light, right? So I looked down the tier to see, and she was flashing it towards the honor rooms. So there's a row of cells. Only the people that are straight up programmers can get in there. There's 11 of them, right? And she's flashing it down towards 11. And I'm looking, and I don't see nobody. And I put my head back down, and she starts screaming, right? And I looked up, and the guy that died, the guy that killed himself, was standing at the end by room 11, and he was snapping his fingers. But you could tell it was him, but it was a ghost. It was crazy. That night lady refused to work our unit after that day. Um, but what was weird is after 3 days, 3 days after he died, the mom came to the institution and had a meeting with the chaplain, and then no one ever saw him again. The temperature drop went away in the shower area, but that's a true story. Anybody that was there at that time, that was in Los Osos West when it happened, will tell you something very strange happened there that them 3 days. That dude's soul was not at rest. Whatever happened to him, only he knows. And um, I know they had said that he was having a lot of problems with his family, and I think that when his mom came, I guess that's when he was finally at peace and decided to leave. But there it is. There's one story. I have a few other ones. If you guys are interested, maybe I'll tell them. I noticed my views are down a lot, so apparently I'm not giving you guys what you want. But you guys asked for this, so the ones that have been asking, I know you'll watch. Um, but anyways, you guys be safe, be smart, and don't forget to tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.